Yes, sir, we're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the Marvel Legends Vintage Wave Wolverine figure review. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini matey, I'm fucking with them. Hype beast, we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about it.
So we got Wolverine out of the package, pretty much what you would expect if you already have the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure Wave Wolverine. This is pretty much the same exact Wolverine with a few minor deco changes. His costume is quite a bit lighter than the original version, and he's got a couple of little specks of hair painted on the arms. The articulation is exactly the same, so not gonna spend too much time on that stuff. I'm gonna just get into some comparisons because I know that's what people really want to see. So let's look at his accessories real quick. So out of the package, he comes with two fisted hands and the claws extended here, and you can see the claws. They're not really metallic. This is kind of that dull finish that they've been putting on quite a few of the past Wolverine releases. But if you want to kind of swap out the hands and get them to have a look with the claws retracted, then you might have to buy another one of these Wolverines from the vintage series and just remove these claws. I feel like these claws are a little easier to remove than some of the past Wolverines, but I have not fully removed them yet. I was just messing around with them because you can see these on his left hand are just a little bit warped. But yeah, let's get into his actual accessories. So the head pops off with no problem. There's a look at the peg. He comes with his cowl. So this was something that a lot of people wanted with the first release of Wolverine from that Juggernaut Build-A-Figure Wave. I don't really like how it doesn't actually sit all the way flush, but you can actually get it to sit a little more flush once you pop the head off. So this is his only real accessory, the unmasked head and the cowl. So let me get this head on. A little harder to put on the unmasked head than it is to put on the masked head, but it looks good. I do like the paint work that they put on here. You can see some little stubble, sort of like a 5 o'clock shadow for his mustache and his lower beard, but the sideburns and everything is there. There's actually a little bit of blue painted in the hair too, just a little bit, just an undertone, which is, I guess, an ode to Jim Lee's art style, where he painted that kind of blue hue and some of the characters' hair. And yeah, this looks very good. I do like the paint scheme. I do think that it is pretty accurate to the comic books. It could go either way. Now that I'm looking at this and I've looked at the original Juggernaut Build-A-Figure Wave version, I feel like this one is a better color scheme and maybe a little bit more accurate. But it has been drawn. He has been drawn a couple of different ways as far as the hues of brown and mustard. And like I said, the articulation is exactly the same as the original version. You know, the head's on a ball joint. It'll look down, it'll look up, left to right. It'll pivot a little bit, just a little bit. You probably get more pivot with the masked head. You got the butterfly joints here, so that can go back and forth. The shoulders will come up just about that far. Upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, wrist swivel and a hinge. Good ab crunch, waist swivel, T-joint at the pelvis. Legs will come up. Splits will go out just about that far. Upper thigh swivel, double jointed knee. You get rotation at the boot. You get a hinge and a pivot on the foot. So a nice range of motion for Wolverine. And as we know, this buck is very nice, and you know, it does represent his stature very well. I noticed that there is a little damage here on the bicep, and it was like that out of the package, and it's cracked here on this side of the bicep too. I'm not sure how well that's showing up, but other than that, not too many paint imperfections or any problems. So let's get into some comparisons and some swaps. Alright, so we got the Jubilee Build-A-Figure Wave Wolverine on the left. So this was the Wolverine that came like this without a masked head, but you weren't able to just easily pop off the head on this version. And this head is pretty much the identical head to the one that was packed in with this vintage wave Wolverine in the middle. So I'll get those faces side by side in a second so you can see how they differ. And then on the far right you have the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure Wave Wolverine, and you can see, you know, the color schemes are quite different. This new one is a little lighter. Like I said, I'm feeling like the new one is a little more comic accurate as far as the color goes. And the other thing I forgot to mention is that they painted a little bit of hair on the arms of the new vintage version, which was something that was lacking from the original version, but I don't think they did as good a job as one would have liked. You know, it's very faint there. They could have really went crazy and given Wolverine more hair than that. This guy's supposed to be a very hairy Canadian, and you can see the skin tones are a little different as well. I think I might actually prefer the skin tone on the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure Wave version. And then I'm looking at the claws too, and I stand corrected. These claws are just a bit different. The Juggernaut Build-A-Figure Wave version, the claws are a little lighter. I think I like the ones on the vintage wave more, but I still would have preferred the metallic claws that they gave to that X-Force Wolverine, the regular release of the X-Force Wolverine, which I guess I'll show in a minute. But yeah, that's them side by side. And then I also thought about putting the unmasked head on the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure Wave version, which is fine. That'll pop on with no problem, and it still articulates with no problem. But the cowl is not really going to work. You can see, again, there's a stark contrast as far as the colors go. So if you wanted to get another cowl and maybe just paint it this darker brown just here on this part, just on kind of like the neck or the arm of the cowl, then you could do that. But you can just kind of do them without the cowl on and this unmasked head, and it does look fine. Let me take that off. So yeah, that looks cool. No real issues there. And there's the two unmasked heads side by side. Again, on the left, this is the Jubilee Build-A-Figure Wave version. Again, this head does not just pop off. You would have to actually do a little bit of surgery to get this head off, and the peg is not the same. So this is why, personally, I never removed this head here, and I've always just left it on. And I just removed his claws and had a relaxed Wolverine here. But yeah, you can see the skin tones are different. And you can see he's got the little stubble on this version. And again, like I said, I don't know how well it's showing up, but there is just a little hint of blue in this newer version. But I think I like this newer one better. I didn't like the fact that his eyes were blue on this version. I don't know that Wolverine's eyes are supposed to be blue. That was something that stood out to me. And there's a look at those claws, the metallic claws that they released one time on this X-Force Wolverine in comparison with these claws on the vintage wave version. So, you know, a lot of mixing and matching you could do to kind of get the perfect Wolverine, I suppose. You know, I would have liked to see them try this more metallic look again as far as the claws go, but as we know, this Wolverine is a little too tall. They finally got it right with this buck here on the right. And unfortunately, the peg on the old man Logan, that neck peg is a little larger than that of the peg on the vintage Wolverine or the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure Wave Wolverine, so this head won't actually pop on there. Now, if it did actually pop on there, this would look good. As a matter of fact, I had mentioned this head and this body in a previous review and said that I thought that the proportions would be great. So if you wanted to get another one of these, you would have to Dremel the hole a little bit to get it on there. But I was looking forward to doing that because I think this would be a nice, great, relaxed street clothes Wolverine. But again, you would definitely have to Dremel this head. So not bad at all. Definitely a slight improvement on the original version. But I would have liked to see them definitely put some more paint on the arms and giving us the extra interchangeable hands for a relaxed look. I will show you this real quick. Like I said, it is very easy to take out these claws and put them back. But of course, you're going to have that little gaping hole there, unfortunately. But it does seem like it's a little easier to remove these claws. But still, this is one that I would definitely recommend. I can see a lot of customizers and kit bashers having a field day with this and doing some different things. I also was originally thinking about swapping out these arms here and putting them on the other one, just swapping them at the bicep. But That's not going to work because of the color difference and the not only the skin tone, but this part here, because you would have to swap this whole entire part from the upper bicep down. But again, still one I would recommend. It's still a dope figure. It's still a nice improvement. And if you are a mock collector, then you know it is a great packaging as well. So I was able to cop this today at Forbidden Planet in New York City, but I have seen the wave showing up at Walmart and a bunch of different places across the country. So get out there, hunt, find it, and thanks for hanging out. As always, rate, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.
That's crispy.